millions and millions of dollars. We've got to make this community, and what the people want this community to be, is a home, is a nice home for them and their families to be raised in. And we've got to find what it takes to do that. And it's bringing in small businesses, it's bringing in activities for the kids, it's getting some of our drugs off the streets that are absolutely destroying this generation and the next generation. There's got to be, and it's going to take communication, it's going to take work, and it's going to take someone getting out and actually having a conversation with everybody to come together and make this county what we want it to be, our home. That's why I moved here. I didn't move here because I wanted a big industrial park. I moved here because I wanted the family life. As I tell people, I didn't move here for what Walker County had. I moved here for what it didn't have. I came from a big city. I know what big cities have.
But in order to have those nice homes and to have jobs, you got to have the industrial park and the...
You can do it with small businesses. Judy, you could have brought in 10 businesses, just 10 small businesses. And we're just talking pipe fitting shops, machine shops, sock, t-shirt factories, 5 people. And that's a small business.
Yeah, but they got to have some reason to make the pipe fit. I mean, they have to have somebody to sell it to.
That's where you've got to get out and find these jobs for the people and find the connections for them. That's what the government needs to do, is to give an environment that's going to bring them here. There's people dying to start businesses. We got mechanics that, want to start businesses. Competition. If you only have one of something, you've got no competition, and then your prices are fixed. You've got to have choice. And not only in our government, but just in our society. When we don't have choices, we've got no chance for any kind of negotiation. You're pretty much told what you got to do.
Let's take this caller right here.
Mm-hmm.
Caller, go ahead. You got a question for Perry Lamb. Hello, are you there?
Yeah.
You have a question for...
Good evening, Judy.
Do you have a question for Perry Lamb?
Yeah.
And the question, and what is the
Feedback.
question?
Yeah, it's getting feedback.
Turn your television down.
I'm going. I thought I had it all the way back. But I've got some questions, a couple of questions I was going to ask him. Since this day and time, it seemed like it's a working person, or the elderly don't have one thing. They just can't seem to go and listen. But what I'm trying to get is the government's so big that they're passing and that they're doing whatever they want to do. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I agree with you. And part of our problem that I feel is our politicians have gotten into the habit, or maybe it's just laziness, flat out laziness, but they sit behind a desk, they appoint these committees or their friends to go out and do the jobs instead of getting out of the office, going out. And there's people like yourself that have a harder time getting around. And really, especially on our county level, you should have somebody that you can pick up a phone and say, Mr. Lamb, I've got a problem here. I've got, something that's going on with my roads, with my ditch. Can you come talk to me? And, my job as a commissioner is to be a road commissioner, is to be out there in my jeans and boots and getting dirty if I need to be. It's not about being a politician. Politicians should not be running our road departments. They need to know, actually, how to do the job.
Well, you was talking something right. We don't know what's going on. Really, we don't really know what's going on. They don't give you exact figures, and you think about this, the county has got so that they do whatever they want to.
Well, we've got
cities.
Yeah, well, when you have, especially right now, when you have a sole commissioner, and I've always been an advocate, always, for a board of commissioners. When you have a sole commissioner, you have no checks and balances. And our founding fathers did not set up government. We got away from king and queens. That's why we came from England and over to here. We set up a government. We were supposed to have checks and balances, and we should have it.
Freedom.
Yes, and we do not have that. And when our politicians start telling us what they're going to do, the system's falling apart.
Well, don't you think they're getting into the people's business nowadays? They know more about your business than you do. And that when it comes to the law, they told you that you couldn't smoke and that you had to have seat belts.
He's running for the county, not national.
Well,
not regional and not state. He's
right,
running
and
for
there's a
county.
lot of stuff we can't change. You know, we can't change it nationally, but locally, you know, we can take care of ourselves here in the county. We can give our services or have services that we're supposed to have. Our taxes.
I noticed the president, he's changed bills that was against the law. He's done things on his own, and I don't know where the White House is at.
Well, and hopefully people will, you know, come out and start voting, and, you know, that's what it's going to take. It's going to take us, the voters of this county, of this nation, to make the changes, and hopefully we'll have more people that are outside the system. That
I'd like to see us get a more industry, steel mills and everything else.
Okay, buddy.
thank
you
you.
for
I
your
appreciate
call.
your call.
We want to talk about some of the issues. I had some on your handout here. It says that Walker County finally has an option on the ballot that will insist that legislators place a binding vote on the 2018 ballot for Board of Commissioners.
Yeah, it's important. The people have voted. People voted 75% to have this. I'm not sure if it's the Republican Party or the Tea Party. I haven't really figured out who is heading it right now. But this needs to be something that absolutely needs to be done. The people want it, and everybody needs to be involved in this process. You know, not just one party, both parties, independent parties, people that aren't even registered. You know what? They live here. It's like when we talked about my petition, those 400. Even though those people were not registered, those people are still important. And anybody that lives in this county that wants to have a voice when it comes to the board of directors needs to be able to have that voice.
Tell me what you think the advantages of a Board of Commissioners.
Checks and balances. Absolutely checks and balances. You have a system set in place. Our national government, we have 3 branches, and we have 3 branches for that reason: executive, legislative, and judicial. So there are checks and balances. Same thing in our county. We need to have some way to stop. You and I, the people out here, need to be able to stop something that we don't want done. And if you've got a board, you at least have somebody that is a little more regional, local, of your voice, and can do something about it. And if you have something like term limits, well, by God, if you don't do what I tell you to do, and that's basically what it is, you do what I tell you to do. If you don't do it, then you're gone. And if you think you're going to sit there for 10 years, 5 elections, whatever, no. If you've got that much power, come your term limit, you're gone. Because that's what happens. You get in there, and all politicians seem to worry about is their next election.
Yep.
How much money they going to get for their donations.
You know, I was born and raised in Walker County. What are you going to do to better what we got now? I mean, we don't. You know, we're limited. You know.
But how are we limited, though? You mean as far as now business? We're limited geographically.
Okay.
Industrial, we really are. Unless people want to put 200, 300, 1,000 tractor trailers on 27 every day, you know, think real hard about that.
Yeah.
Now, do you really want a Volkswagen plant in the middle of the county that you can't rail out. We got one rail, and we don't have an interstate 2 miles down the road. So you've got to approach each problem differently. We can bring in business here, but we need to bring in the business that's going to bring in the families and the tax revenue, and that's going to be the small businesses. And if this county is where people want to live, we've got all kinds of area that people can build on. And I'm not talking subdivisions. You've got property here that people want to sell that you could have a nice, not right next door to somebody, and build homes. We're 30 minutes away from Chattanooga. We're 25 minutes away from Dalton. We're 40 minutes to Rome, 35, however you drive. Look at the amount of people that live just outside of Atlanta and those communities. And it's Atlanta that supports those communities. But those are nice communities outside of Atlanta. Most of my family's in Savannah. Savannah proper is a nice little town, but that's not where the people of Savannah live. They live out in those suburbs, and those suburbs are nice. They're family oriented, and that's what, when I go around talking to people, that's what people want. They say, why can't we have, a fancy restaurant? We got great little restaurants around here, but occasionally they want to, go to a big steakhouse.
Yeah, I agree.
So they go to Fort Oglethorpe. You get families that, we don't even have an activity. Look, I don't love bowling, but I've bowled on a league before. But if you go into any bowling alley, you can't hardly get a lane. There's a lot of people that like it. Why is that such a hard thing to have a company come in and bring a bowling alley?
But will people support upscale restaurants in Wofford County?
I think they would. Wouldn't we have been asking that same question 20 years ago about Fort Oglethorpe when they didn't have anything? First real restaurant that I can remember is when they passed the liquor by the drink. Applebee's came in, and you couldn't get in that place unless you wanted to stand there for 2 hours. We've got, and I understand our generation here. We've got older generations, but we've also got younger generations coming in, and they're willing, to push stuff that's closer in. They'd love to have something within the county.
How many upscale restaurants does Lafayette have that moved out of there?
They don't have any.
Well, you live in Lafayette, don't you?
Yeah, but we're not talking. Bojangles is the newest.
But why is Bojangles there though? Because of the plastic plant in Rock Springs.
Yeah, Bojangles moved there because of that. I'm not talking about
Oh, yeah.
Bojangles. I'm talking about, what was it? 111 was on the square in Lafayette.
Well, but now we got to talk about that though. We know
111
that.
I
I
They
like
served drinks, and then he opened another place over
the tavern
in the Morris
behind
Theater
Tavern,
District, and that's gone.
Yeah, but there was some political fighting going on in that one. That one became, I didn't delve into the full history of it, but, and I'll tell you what people tell me. And now, whether it's true or not, I don't know. There's always bias, but people flat out will tell me, you know why we don't have anything in this town? Because none of the old timers let us put it here. They try to bring in a nice restaurant, and they get run out of town, and that's the general. That's what's said. Now, is it true? I don't know, Julia. There's always going to be someone
Well, that's
mad
what
at
I heard,
somebody.
too.
Well, okay, so
They advertised
so was
with
it
me, and so I lost a good advertisement.
right? So was it because the people didn't support it, or the powers to be didn't support it?
I've been there and stood in line many a time, so they had
yeah.
quite a bit of business.
Well, that Twins Pizza, they
Twins
serve
Pizza's not an upscale
They're doing.
restaurant.
They're,
No, it's not, but
Okay, caller, go ahead.
Yeah, I tell you, on those restaurants, is one thing with location. I know people don't like to hear that, but on them two restaurants you was talking about, especially one of them was location. It's hard to get anybody going to the west side of town for anything, because there's nothing there.
Well, I remember what the west side of the town looked like before they did that, so you can't convince me of that.
Oh, but
But I'm not running for election here, Perry Lamb is, so
I know.
I don't want to take away from his
Saying
interview.
that's part of location, parking. But I remember we had the steakhouse. It stayed pretty full.
Yeah,
Oh,
and it's
Oh,
gone.
yeah,
Right,
that's
yeah,
right, it's-
yeah.
I forgot about that, yeah.
That one, it was gone when I got here.
Oh, yeah,
So I don't know
I
how long.
Yeah,
It's
it's been,
always been
it's been
good
closed for
business.
quite a
I don't
while.
know.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to that one.
And then
'cause
there was,
it-
Go
and
down to
then,
the Mexican restaurant.
the Mexican restaurant.
and then there on the other, what was the name of, Andrew's Restaurant?
Andrews.
Yeah,
Uh,
you know, Joe Andrews.
yeah,
that-
Joe Andrews, it was
you know, the
up
one they had
there.
up there by the,
He wasn't here then
he
either.
wasn't here.
Brian, what was the name of the restaurant where,
You know, Gerald.
the
was
little
over-
guy that worked for us worked?
he was over-
Oh,
What was it at?
Over by McDonald's, wasn't
it was in a house up on the hill there below McDonald's. Oh, what was the name of that?
Oh, you
Andrew's
talking about
house,
Twin Peaks?
Andrew's house, wasn't it?
It might have been, yeah.
I think it was Andrew's house.
Yeah, and then the one over by the golf course, is that still open, that
Who
restaurant?
was one that guy
Yes,
owned?
the-
That guy, he
the
lived up
house.
there in
The
Chicken
house, yeah, the
Run.
house.
It's still there.
Briggs.
Yeah, the house.
Well, tell me this, sir. What would you like to see here in Walker County? What kind of restaurants would you like to see?
I don't know. I don't need out much. Better than me, but
So you're the one that's,
you know, somewhere where you get. What I'd like to see is a restaurant with a buffet.
A buffet?
Buffet, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've actually got a few things working. We've got some property in this county that could probably help produce. I've talked to a couple of restaurant owners.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've got some property that could produce some pretty decent food. And there's restaurant people around here that would love to do buffets, Sunday buffets, Saturday evening buffets, kind of.
But don't they have a buffet on the square?
I haven't seen that one.
Hey, you know, no more.
Oh, it's not? There was one down there.
Well, they had that little Mexican buffet, but I don't know when it's there. I have yet to be able to get there and be able to get a meal there, and I hear it's really good.
Yeah, well, Hillbillies, you talking about Hillbillies?
Yeah,
No,
Hillbillies.
yeah, I knew Hillbillies
that's
closed
right,
down.
Or 2 or 3 times, they wouldn't even know.
Yeah, now they're closed. Hillbillies closed down.
Yeah, but I mean before, they sold this dope certain days then.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I know we have the Mexican restaurant that's back at the tavern is now
Well, no, man, it's went out of business again.
again. We've got, and you know that's what it is. We really got to listen to the people and see what the people want. You know, what kind of restaurants? We can't. Our government, our county government, should not be in the business of being a business. We don't need to open a restaurant, but we can find what the people want and what the people will support, and then make the environment where those restaurants will come in here. And then, hey, it's up to us in this county to support them. And if we can support them, they'll stay.
Well,
Yes.
I tell you,
speaking of upscale restaurant, how about Mountain Cove Farms?
That would have been it was at one time controlled by a private individual or a private company. And then, for whatever reason, the county decided to start competing against private businesses.
No, it was always the
It's always
county.
a county.
It was always a county.
I understood I was told
Well,
by
it was
a
always a
restaurant.
county. They were also one of my
So no one ever ran that restaurant but the county?
Yeah. Well, I think a private person came in after the county did and managed it, but the county was down there first. The county was down there first.
Well, the county bought it.
Yeah, but they ran the restaurant
I don't
first.
know,
Too.
I like.
Walker County bought Mountain Cove Farm,
I don't know,
Uh-huh.
but
it's
they
like there,
they
baby.
built
I'm
that
too
restaurant because they did it from scratch.
And who was managing it?
They were.
Well, I hope someone will call me in, because I talked to a restaurant owner around here who told me that they were the ones that were managing that restaurant. And
They
then,
could have been.
I know, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I don't-
There's a lot of stuff that gets said, just like we found out earlier. You know what I found, Judy? And this is how I try to do things, especially internet. There are so many different reports out there. And what you've got to do is listen to every one of them, even if it's 20 of them, even if it's from the far right or the far left or some lunatic.
But you gotta
But somewhere in those 20, there's a line of truth.
Well, yeah, you got to.
That's what you got to decipher.
That's right. You got to find
Well,
it.
You got to find the truth.
Well, let me tell you where the line of truth is. The person that started and managed it and put it together was David Ashburn and BB Haskell, so they could probably tell you more than anybody could. They were one of my advertisers too, so.
So we have a restaurant in town right now, and they had nothing to do with Mountain Coast Farms?
I don't know. I don't think so. I thought the county
We'll
building-
talk off air. I'll have to tell you the name, because I don't want to, I'm not the kind that's going to start rumors.
Maybe the chef was from there or something like that, but as far as owning and managing, I don't think so. But I may
Yeah.
be wrong, but, I've been wrong before. Caller, go ahead.
Am I the one?
Yeah,
Yes,
go
ma'am.
ahead.
Okay. It was the country store at Mountain Cove Farm. It was operated by the lady who you talked to.
It was a store.
Okay, it was
The
the
store.
store, not the
Yeah.
restaurant.
Yeah.
The restaurant.
Came in and moved her out while she was operating the country store. And they took it over. And I don't know what happened to it since then. I think that's when they brought in the beer coolers and the different things.
They
Nope.
served steaks and chops. They had a bar.
Oh, I
and,
ate there when the county
It's
ran
not
it.
the restaurant. This was the country store.
Okay,
Right.
it was a country store. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm glad someone clarified that for me.
Well-
It's always important to,
Yeah. From people that know, I mean, you're not from here, so
Right.
Yeah,
I
that's what
don't.
I'm saying.
Right.
I'm not
And-
badgering them. Saying
Oh
you
no,
need
no,
to
no,
know.
no! You're
Find
absolutely
out.
you're absolutely
Yeah.
right, and that's
Yeah,
why
I
that's why I
didn't
say
mean it like that.
Oh no, I don't take it
I'm
that
just
way.
telling you that.
No, I have learned. There's
I was there
one thing.
when-
There's one thing I am smart enough to know.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't smart enough to know everything. I know that.
Well,
Yeah,
me too-
and
me
that's
too,
what it
but-
takes. You got to have.
I do
You got
know
to
that
ask
because I
people.
was there when they started
Yeah.
it.
No,
Everything.
at that
Okay.
restaurant there, that is definitely a location thing. You're not going to
They
have somebody
came
from here drive that far out.
They did.
To go.
They had Christmas parties and they had venues for
Right,
this and that.
but when you're running a restaurant like that, you got to have a constant supply of clientele, and that's just a long way. Oh, I liked the restaurant. The food was good.
Well, they drive from here to Canyon Grill.
I've yet to eat there. It's just a bunch of hoopla to me.
Oh, Canyon Grill, you know
Yeah.
where it is?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
They
I've got-
drive.
I've got-
They
I've
drive
got
from.
friends
They
that
drive
live
from
up
here to
there.
Ruth Chris.
Oh yeah, they do. It'd be nice though to not have to drive that far. It'd be
Well,
nice to
yeah.
have something mid-county.
Yeah. I'm going to take this again.
Oh, go
And
ahead.
He's called
That's-
before, so caller, go ahead. I can't not take it. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm calling again. Judy, you and Eddie, remember that little shopping area where Long John Silver's was, and they had a red food store in Kmart, I believe it was. I had Kmart, and they had a red food store down in that little shopping area behind Long John Silver's.
Hey, Bilo. Kmart was up the other end of town. And so, what's the question? What's the question?
I was wondering, I enjoyed going up there at Long John Silver's.
Okay. Well, all right. Let's talk to Perry Lamb. Thank you. We're not going out to eat. Let's find out. Bring in the revenue from county-owned properties. That's one of the issues you've got here on your paper you gave us.
We've got hundreds of properties that are sitting on the tax roll doing nothing. We've got to do something with those properties. We either got to sell them, or we got to find a business to bring in that will do something. Like I said, we spent $12.5 million on an industrial park, and we got property all over this place. Why can't we find businesses and bring them and say, hey, we'll give you a piece of property. You pay us the tax on it.
Do you mind telling us what some of that property is? I mean, do you mind?
You've got, if you look up on the tax records, the Walker County Tax Assessor, and go under Walker County, there's page after page after page. Some of it's an acre, some of it's a lot, some of it was what is up on top of the mountain. It's just all over the place. Now, have I driven by it? I got a full-time job. I haven't had time to drive by
I know
400.
that's what I'm saying,
But you can pull up the map and you can
Yeah.
see the different
Yeah.
places that we have property that's owned that can be used. I mean, we can't just sit on property. I mean, should our county be in the business of real estate? If it's sitting by, if we had property sitting on a rail system, absolutely, that's gold. But when you've got property that's in the middle of nowhere, find a use for it, or find someone that wants to buy it. You know, at least if you sell it, you've got that revenue, you've got that money, and then you've got the tax revenue from it. And that's where our money's coming from right now, is tax revenue. And we've got to take that tax revenue and we've got to manage it properly. You know, you can't, our departments have got to be run efficiently with the money that they've got that's coming in from our revenue, so we can pay our debt. And that one of my questions there, what you're about to hit me on, is the debt thing, because that's how we got to do it. We've got to start paying. We got to start paying down our debt, and we do it just like 90% of the people in this county have done. We all have bills. Okay, we get our monthly statement. What do? We X amount for this, X amount for that, X amount for that. If we come up short in the end, we don't go borrow money to pay it, or if you do, that's a horrible way to do it. You know, most of us, we have to struggle, and we go, you know what? Well, we're going to have to cut a little bit here, and we're going to have to cut a little bit here, or instead of eating prime rib, we're going to eat hamburger. You know, the people in this county relate to that, and they understand that. And that's where I'm coming from. You know, my skills is management. We've got to be efficient, and we got to have, you know, like I've told everybody, my job's to be out face to face with the managers, with the department heads, with the employees, and with the people of this county. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take all of us coming together and make this county run efficiently, not sitting behind a desk. I'm not going to know a single thing sitting behind a desk.
Okay, caller, you're next. Go ahead. Hello, are you there?
Yeah.
All right,
Mr. Land said he has a full-time job.
Yes, ma'am.
Is he going to keep his full-time job, or is this going to be a...
No, ma'am. As much as I love my job and helping people in the medical field, the county commissioner is a full-time job. And to do it right, I will put into it the same... I don't know if you know, I work in the medical field. My hours are long.
I didn't know.
Yeah, sometimes, last Friday I had a nice 17-hour day. That's just what's required of the job. And the job of the county commissioner, I don't expect it to be any easier. The people of this county want somebody who's going to work just as hard.
Okay. If you didn't have time to drive by those properties...
yeah. I stay pretty busy, but...
Okay.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
I was just curious. I do not know. I'm trying to get informed.
Well, that is the best thing to do. That is what this county needs. This county needs people that's going to get informed.
Okay.
We
Thank
get
you.
out and vote.
Thank
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. You back to the county debt? Is that?
If that's where you want to go, we can.
Yeah, you were talking about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, our county debt is what it is. Whether it's $1 million or 10 million or 100 million, we got to approach it the same way. We've got to find out how to pay it. You know, how much money do we have to pay it? That's why I tell you, we've got to get a forensic audit. We've got to know where we're starting from. You can't start from a guess. We got to start from an absolute number. What do we have? What do we owe? And then we make a plan. You know, the plan is run our county departments efficiently, find out how much we need for our road repairs, for our water lines, for our sewer lines, for our police, for our fire. We've got services that should be supplied to the people of this county. And it hasn't been that way for so many years. It has become the same names keep coming up for projects. You know, we've got projects going on. We've got a project up on the mountain, Durham Trail. Look, it's beautiful. We didn't have the money for it. It didn't need to be done. It encroached on people's property rights. We spent money that was absolutely wasted because I went up and I kind of, being that I used to do that kind of work, I looked at what it would have cost, should have cost, and it was absolutely ridiculous what we spent on it. Well, then we turn around and now we're $70,000 fine on us. We've got, here's another one. We bought a bank building, $800,000. Absolutely a great deal. But we had another building that our people were in, which it would have cost $400,000 to repair. Now, we spent twice that much money to buy a building. Did we have that? Did we have that extra
Are you talking about the
400,000?
tax office?
Yes. Did we have?
Are you aware that it was full of mold?
Absolutely.
And all that?
I don't disagree with that. But I'm saying is, we spent $800,000 when we could have spent $400,000. Your car's tore up. You want to go buy a Lexus, but all you got the money for is a Volkswagen. You know, even though the Lexus is a good deal, if you don't have the money, you don't have the money. And we can't keep borrowing money to have these things because they're nice or fancy or they're a good deal, because they're going to bankrupt us. That's what's going to happen.
What was it, $7 a square foot?
Well,
it was a good.
Well, I mean, it's just electrical when they built that building was over $700,000.
Yeah. Oh, it was.
I mean, it's no question that's a good deal.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely,
that's
absolutely.
that's
But
a good deal.
again, if you find something that you want to buy,
Yeah.
are you going to go borrow the money when you're in debt to buy it? I mean, is that the smart move?
Well, they would have had to borrow $400,000 you're talking about.
Okay, we could pay off $400,000 a lot faster when we could pay off the $800,000 plus. How much did we put in there? Another $200,000. I mean, those were numbers I heard. I haven't looked at the numbers, but how much
Yeah,
more did we put in there to fix it?
I don't know, but I do a fax check before I
Yeah.
start
But I know
saying
we
all
had.
that.
I know we
don't
did
know.
800,000. And here's the other thing. You know, who owned the property before? You know, who was?
I don't know what they got to do with it. I mean, they got
Well-
it at a good deal. You know, they got it at a good deal.
But
I'm
again,
not defending
right.
anybody,
But
you know.
again, a deal is only a deal if you can afford it. And
You wouldn't have done that.
no, I wouldn't have. Why do we still have people working down at this building downtown?
That's another thing you know that I don't know. So I mean, I don't know.
Drive by it, and you still got offices open. If it's so bad, then why are they still there? That's the thing, and it's not that I'm not being, I know everything. I really don't. What I know is we're tight right now.
Yeah.
We can't keep going to the people and going, you know what? We just spent $12 million here, we spent $1 million there, and we're going to raise your taxes again. The people can't handle that. The people of this county are expecting us, the government, the commissioner, to do what's best for them. And right now, it's save as much money as they can so people can get back the life that they've been trying to get for several years. Our economy still is recovering.
That building though was $7 a square foot. And
So are we ever going to sell it, though? Now, if we sell it now, we make money on
no,
it.
it's
So are we
got
going to sell
about.
it?
don't need to
it's-
sell it.
what has
Well,
it got?
okay, then
What's
then
it
there
got?
you go.
Five
So
different,
that's the investment.
5 different county offices in it.
Yeah, and plus they had to add some more appraisers, right? Yeah.
Well, they added them.
the state,
And the
it was
state
a mandate.
mandated.
that
It's a
they
mandate.
added 'em, Yeah, so
Okay, let's take this caller over here. We're getting nowhere fast. Caller, go ahead. Go ahead, caller.
Hello?
Hello, go ahead.
Yes, I would like to say that we needed a hospital more than we needed an industrial park,
yeah. Well, we got the hospital back. It's back. So
Yeah, we did. I mean, at least I'm glad that
It's just an emergency room, though. They don't do surgery. They don't do nothing there, do they?
Well, I'm hoping that Cornerstone can come back. They're supposed to be a fairly strong company. I've got an appointment to talk to them. Understanding healthcare like I do, it is absolutely out of our hands now. The county, we owe money on it. We don't have the money to give them what this county can do, and what I'm absolutely gonna do my hardest, and I'm working on trying right now to bring doctors back into this county. But Cornerstone, I really think, will be a good thing for the county. They'll be able to, as long as they, take care of the county and the size that they are, we'll have our health care back, because that's one of the most important things. When people move to a county, they ask, how is your health care, how is your school system, and how are your taxes? Our taxes, although our taxes aren't as high as some places, it's the way they went up so fast, it really took a bite out of people. So what people hear now is, well, your taxes are high and you don't have health care. And that's what's hurt this county from bringing in people, and that's what we got to do. We got to give an environment that people go, that's the place I want to live. That's where I want to raise my family.
I'm interested in what you said. What did you start that conversation out with? What'd you say?
And about the hospital.
What'd you say? We need the hospital more than we needed that building?
The industrial park.
And that's it.
Well, sure. And the life more important than the building.
So, are you saying that you wanted the county to buy the hospital? Is that what you said? Is that what you said?
I'm just saying.
You people didn't support the hospital when it was up there, and you're selling.
You don't tell me what I hadn't supported.
I didn't say. I said you people didn't support it, but you said the county should have bought the hospital. You all criticized, and excuse me, Perry, criticized B.B. Haskell for even putting money in it and try to save them people's jobs. I don't want to hear that. Okay? And I'm not taking up for Miss Haskell. That's not what I'm saying. I'm taking up for the hospital.
Yes, you are.
I'm taking up for the hospital. I sat through that from day one for that.
The hospital, we should have it in our county.
You've got a hospital. You got Cornerstone. It's up there. That's brought it from nothing to something.
But just like our ambulance service, the county taxpayers pay for every one of them ambulances. Walker County.
You
Then
got
it
it
was
back.
sold to Puckett.
You know,
No.
You get
Sold
an
it to
ambulance
Puckett.
from
We sold it
Puckett
to
to see
Puckett,
how much
yeah.
it costs you to go from Wilson Road to Irvine. It costs you $1,000. I'm just saying the money that
Let's
our
see.
taxpayers,
Hutcherson-
don't live in our county, our taxpayers have put in there.
Hutcherson
And,
used Hutcherson used to have the ambulance service, and they took them. They come down the hill for me one day and said, "We've all been laid off. There's no ambulance service anymore." Remember that?
Yeah.
Everybody
So-
was right out at the hospital.
So the county took over the ambulance service.
Well, and I under,
People that was right off at the hospital, and they said, Walker County is 5%, her ad that's on your station, 5%.
unemployment.
oh yeah, probably unemployment, yeah. that's what-
Unemployment.
You don't look at all the jobs that was lost at Crystal Springs, Braetree down Chickamauga. You don't look at all the jobs that was lost at Imperial Cut down Lafayette. You don't look at all the jobs that was lost down there at Bluebird and all the ones at the hospital. And you
I don't reckon the county owned them, did they?
The what?
Did the county own them, Perry?
No, they didn't.
It was in
Bluebird
that-
and Crystal Springs?
No.
No. I don't think so.
I understand where you're coming from. I really do, because I have issues when the county gets involved in too much business. Now, someone asked me one time, well, what kind of businesses should the county service?
That's a good
Business
question.
oriented.
That's a good question.
And it is, the ambulance service, I personally think that was a bad deal to make, because the way it got sold is we basically just gave them the equipment, because we sold it for X amount and then turned around and are paying X amount for each year. So it was a break-even deal, and they got the equipment. That is a service that we could make money on, because like the gentleman was saying, it's $1,000 to $1,500 for a trip. So you have to, you really got to weigh things. And I feel like here in the county, that's what happens, is we don't weigh the good to the bad. It just, someone gets a wild hair and goes, well, I'm going to do this, and they do this. They do that. Instead of letting the people, have their voice and say, look, why don't we look at it this way? Let's not rush this decision. We really got to slow down some of the stuff we do when it comes to our properties and our assets that we do have.
You got any more questions, sir?
I'm just like I say, I've lived in Walker County since 1971, and our leadership in the last 15 years is, it's just bad, and it's time for us to have a change.
Okay. Election day's November the 8th.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
But before you leave, tell us how you feel about the landfill.
The landfill, I think that is a deal that does not need to be just rashly made. It needs to be investigated. One thing that college don't make you smarter, but college teaches you how to think outside the box, how to research, and that's what we got to do, especially with the landfill. Let's get in there and find out, okay, are we really losing money? How much are we losing? Are we losing money because it's a money losing proposition to begin with, or is it being mismanaged? You know, you got to look at these kind of things, and when all these counties around us, well, let's look at it this way: when you have a business go in and buy a landfill, they're making a profit because they ain't buying it just to show a loss. They've got shareholders they got to show a profit for. So, you know, it got to be made such a big deal out of it. I don't know if it was egos that got involved, but when you go, well, and this is why I did not like the statement that was made by Ms. Haskell. Well, one of my opponents made it such a hot issue, and I'm just going to sell it. We'll just stop the bleeding. Really? That is the absolute wrong thing to say. You don't sell it just because your opponent makes a hot issue out of it. You know, he may be wrong. He may be right. But it don't matter. Let's research it and know for sure if what we're doing is the best thing for the county and has the best interest of the people in this county.
Right.
You know, that's what I want to do. I just want to listen to the people and get their input and do what they want. And being someone that's outside the system, a real independent, I can do that. I don't have to listen to parties. I don't have to walk a party line. I can just do what y'all want me to do. You know, I work for y'all. As commissioner, my job is to work for y'all, not the other way around.
I think your time's up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You get to come back in August for 30 minutes on the morning show. We're going to rotate
Okay.
them around.
They're
Okay?
a little more lively on the evening show. The morning they're sipping their coffee. They're comfortable.
Sitting there listening.
Yeah, in the evening they're a little more. So is she. She's a lot more riled up in the evening too.
I'm spunky at night.
Hey, I appreciate it. I really do, and I hope the people. You know, it's important. People just get registered. You need to be registered. This election is important. You know, if you have ever wanted a chance, the opportunity to make history in this county, well, my team and myself, we just made history. We can keep this going. We can make history in this county. We can show not just this county, but we can show the people in this state and our surrounding states that, you know what, we took our county back. The people of this county did not have to vote for what was given us. We got to vote on what we wanted. We had choices for the first time in a long time.
All right,
So,
well, thank you for
Judy,
that.
I appreciate it. I really do.
Okay, we're going to take a break. You folks stay here with us. Hey, at Park Place Restaurant, tomorrow